Mazda Underwoods of Colchester have kindly lent me this third generation Mazda 2 so I can tell you what it's like. It went on sale in 2015, but it has received a facelift since then, and this is the latest 2022 model year, which gets more upgrades. It rivals cars like the Ford Fiesta, the Vauxhall Corsa, and the Renault Clio. It's on sale for between £16,000 and £21,000 and comes in 4 trim levels: SEL, Sport, GT Sport, and GT Sport Tech. You've had a good look at the car now. Let me know in the top right hand corner of your screen how you think it looks. All Mazda 2s get this 1.5 litre naturally aspirated petrol engine with either a 6-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual available. There are 3 different power outputs from this engine: 75 PS, 90 PS or 115 PS. Torque doesn't vary much, between 143 Newton meters to 151. The 90 PS and the 115 PS version come with this clever mild hybrid system which helps boost efficiency. Also, the engine has a 15:1 compression ratio. That's really high. If you don't know what that means, usually petrols have around about a 10:1 compression ratio. Diesels have 16:1 normally. So that high compression ratio should mean this engine is more efficient. Let's see if I can get comfortable. All right, how much adjustment is there in this seat then? How far forward does it go? My legs are hitting the dash there. There you go, I can get it all the way forwards, but I have to lift my knees up. You could be a hobbit and drive this, I think. All the way back, I'm 5'10", can just about reach the pedals, but I can't really press them. Let's put it in my position, which is about here. See how low it goes, doesn't go any lower. How high does it go? It's not really going up very fast. Every pump is a very small movement. Oh, there you go, we're at the top now, and hair is touching the ceiling. Put that back where it was because I quite liked it lower down, pretty much at the bottom. Doesn't have a wheel to do the backrest, so you have to lift the lever up and get one section at a time, and it's a bit too much. Each step is a bit too much. That may be an issue for some people if you're really fussy with your driving position. And the steering wheel, yeah, there's quite a lot of travel in and out, and up and down, oh, that's a lot as well. Steering wheel shouldn't be a problem. And the head restraint, well, it does come out and it has about that much adjustment. Can I get comfortable in the back? Let's have a look. Driver's seat is in my driving position. Let's hop in, bit of a duck here not to hit your head. Once I am in though, there is plenty of headroom, about that much headroom. Feet go under the seat in front and I have about that much knee room. There's no pouch behind the driver's seat, but there is a storage pouch behind the passenger seat. I don't know why they do one. But the seats feel really comfortable, really soft and plush, and the materials, I would guess this is real leather, whatever it is. Feels nice, front and back. The boot is 255 litres, which is about average for a car of this size. If you take out the rear parcel shelf, which is a little bit flimsy and awkward, you can fold the rear seats down, giving you 887 litres of space, but there is a rather large step over the rear seats if you want to slide larger items in. When you get in this car and close the door, you realise this is not your average Super Mini. This feels far more premium than a Vauxhall Corsa or a Ford Fiesta. There are padded materials everywhere, like this padded leather on the dashboard. Whether it's real leather or not, I don't know. You've got this padded bit on the side of the centre console for your knees, that makes that comfortable. There is some black piano plastic dotted about the place, but not much of it, so that may survive because that often gets scratched up and looks bad quite quickly. It's quite thin and used sparsely. There is this satin chrome effect in places on the door handles, on these air vents that really lift the cabin, and the seats, the leather on the seats here feels plush, with also some suede Alcantara inserts in the seats and on the doors. A little bit of a pad there on the armrest. No armrest here though, unfortunately. Audi, watch out. Mazda are coming to get you. When you start this car up, you're greeted by this nice big central rev counter and a pop-up heads-up display. Last year's model had a tiny little rev counter here, which I found hard to read, and no digital speedo. And what's good about this digital speedo is that if you press this button, you can switch it between miles per hour and kilometers an hour, which I think is a very nice touch, especially if you want to drive abroad. This year you have more room for your phone down here, Last year, there really wasn't any room down here at all, but that's where you plug in for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And you'll be pleased to hear that the interior quality isn't only good in the front, but that continues to the rear also. The climate control is very easy to use, which is nice because when you're on the move, you want to be able to adjust that. And the heated seats get up the temperature very quickly. Although the heated steering wheel, although it gets warm quite quickly, it only heats up the sides. The top and the bottom stays cold. Most models come very well equipped. This isn't the top spec model, this is the second from top, yet it still gets heated seats and a heated steering wheel, cruise control, automatic headlights and wipers, Android Auto, dimming rear view mirror, and this leather interior. I would prefer the top spec, the GT Sporttech, because with that you get a 360 reverse camera. This only gets a rear reverse camera, and also you get those lights that you can leave on full beam, and when someone comes the other way it only dims them but allows your side of the road to be lit up. I have them on my MX-5 and I think they're great. Definitely well worth the money. The door bins are of a reasonable size. That's a small bottle, but you can fit a big bottle in there. Here are your two cup holders, which are ideal for a small bottle, and you've got more storage here with a divider, which you can take out and obviously then put back in. And here's your glove box, and this is how big that is. Shame that it kind of does fall down with an almighty thud. It's not damped, but not a bad size. The pedals are well spaced out. If you have big feet, you're not going to have problems controlling the car. But also if you have small feet, you're going to be okay as well because they're not too high off the ground. So in some cars, if you have small feet, it can be a struggle to press the brake whilst keeping your heel on the ground. But in this car, even if you have small feet, you'll still reach. I've just noticed that this car has height adjustable seat belts, which is quite unusual these days because the height adjustable seat has made that redundant, but it's good to have both options. I'm going to start it up now and see what it's like to drive. I'll start off with slow speed maneuvers, so first gear, and I'm going to find out if I can lift the clutch without giving gas, and let's see if it goes, because some cars stall, some cars don't. Oh, this car stalled there, didn't give me much help. I was quite harsh. I'll try again. I'll try lifting the clutch gently and see if the engine's computer gives me a little bit of gas. It is giving me some gas there, just a little bit. It doesn't help a lot, but it does help a little bit. Let's see what it's like in reverse. Well, the revs have already gone up a little bit actually, so it is giving me more help in reverse. And yeah, I can be a lot harsher with the clutch and the car gets going. So it is programmed to give you more help, more assistance in reverse than it is in first. So I do recommend using gas whenever you're lifting the clutch to move forwards. Let's see what it's like to turn round. Steering is light. Oh, turning circle feels quite tight. Turned a bit early there, I could have turned later. Reverse is easy to select. Good visibility out of these huge flag style wing mirrors, and the camera's helping too. See what these reverse sensors are like. That's what they sound like. Not too bad, not excruciating. And what about the gas pedal? Let's try the gas pedal. That's quite nice as well, not too sensitive. Some gas pedals, you press it, nothing happens, and then suddenly the revs jump up. But this is a bit of a delay, but it's quite easy to control. And let's see if there's any slack in the brakes. It's a little bit of dead travel at the top. Not too much though. Quite easy to control. If you haven't driven this car before, you're not going to struggle with the braking. It's fairly intuitive. I'll tell you something I really don't like about this car, and that's the placement of these stupid cup holders that I keep hitting my funny bone on, because it's right where my elbow goes. Also, you can't really get to these controls if you have a bottle here. Bottle's staying in there. Now I can use this more easily. Driving this car around town in urban areas is really easy. It's the easiest manual car I have ever driven. Genuinely, this is the easiest one I've ever driven. It rev matches for you up gears. So when I want to change gear now, just clutch down, move the gear stick, clutch up. I can come off the clutch really harshly and it's still smooth because the engine's computer holds the revs exactly where they need to be for you to lift the clutch. If you're learning to drive, that's going to make learning a lot easier. It's not going to teach you how to be good in a difficult manual, but it's going to teach you how to drive manual. And in my experience of being a driving instructor and teaching people, you're always better off starting easy and gradually making it harder. This will allow you to learn a manual without too much fuss. And for that reason, if you're a driving instructor, I highly recommend you check out this car when it's time to change. It will make your life easier, and it will make it easier for your pupils to learn. Your pupils will like you for it. The stop-start mild hybrid system in this car, it works really well. It's really smooth. When you stop, the engine turns off. Well, that's nothing new. But when it comes to turning itself back on again, push the clutch down, put it in gear, it's still off. Come off the brake and it starts immediately with barely any noise or any vibration through the car. It makes wanting to leave the stop-start system on all that much easier. It genuinely does save you fuel without making the car feel like it's, well, unrefined. This car is fitted with a standard ratchet style handbrake, and it doesn't rev match the downshifts for you, only the upshifts. So when you go down a gear, you have to hold the clutch on the bite point a couple of seconds to let the clutch rev match for you to make sure it's smooth, or you can rev match yourself by blipping the throttle. It has a reasonably quiet ride, although it does have a little bit of tyre roar, and it's quite smooth. It's not the smoothest car in its class. Citroens generally tend to hold that trophy, but it does have some agility as well without being too harsh over the bumps. It does round off the bumps nicely. Okay, let's launch it. I haven't launched this car before, so do bear with me if I don't get the best start. Here we go. Come on. A nice little sound this engine makes. Where are we? 50 miles an hour. And that's close enough to 60, 56, 57, approaching this bend. A little bit uphill. Not the grippiest of surface today. Traction wasn't a problem, but it doesn't have a huge amount of torque. I'll give my launch there a 7 out of 10. Didn't want to be harsh on the clutch. I didn't bog down though. It's on 16-inch rims with 185/60 profile tyres, and brakes are really nice at speed. Heel and toe is actually really easy. Rev matching is easy as well. Not much body roll through the corners, and it seems to get quite a lot of grip considering the small tyres. Really does suffer with torque though, or should I say a lack of torque. Uphill earlier, I was at 40 miles an hour in fourth gear, and I had to change down the third. It was struggling. Just on a slip road now for a dual carriageway, 70 mile an hour road. Reset the trip computer so I can see what fuel economy it gets. We'd like to see what it's like to get up to speed, but I have a car in front of me doing 45 miles an hour. Maybe I'll go down into third gear so I've got a bit of power in case I do need it. Third gear, pulling, 60, 65, 70. Not too bad, a usable amount of pull there. I'm going to drive on this road for a little bit and I'll let you know how it fares. I've been on this road for a couple of miles now and it is quite quiet. It's certainly smooth. For its class, I'm very happy with how much noise there is. I could certainly do a long journey in this, no problem. Something that's interesting is how tall geared it is. I'm doing 70 miles an hour at just under 2,000 RPM. And whenever I want to accelerate, it asks me to go down into fifth gear because sixth gear really is just for maintaining speed. It's not for accelerating. You really do need fifth or fourth gear if you want to accelerate, say up a hill. I was just going up a hill earlier in sixth gear at 70 with the cruise control on, and it slowed down to 68 because it couldn't actually maintain 70 up that hill, and that hill wasn't steep. So this very tall gear does increase economy, but it does mean you will have to change down gears every so often, like I do now, because I'm putting my foot down at 51 miles an hour and it's not accelerating up this hill. 51, 52, 52, 52, 52, okay, fourth gear, 52, 53, 54, 55, there you go. So if you do want to accelerate, you do need to use the gears, but if you are cruising at a consistent speed, your economy is there. I've just got to a quieter bit of road here without as much tyre roar. Oh, back onto the section of road with more tyre roar again. But I would say I noticed there really isn't much wind noise in here. Most of what I hear is the tyres. Depends on the road surface. And those tall gears, let's see what economy they're getting me. 57.8 miles to the gallon at the moment. and I did actually drive last year's model a couple of weeks back, and I did a little motorway journey, or should I say 70 mile an hour dual carriageway journey, because it's not technically a motorway, and I saw as much as 67 miles to the gallon out of that with the same engine as this. It truly is economical. Driving around town, I struggle to get less than 50 miles to the gallon. I've only seen less when I've been doing these videos, because when you're doing videos, you're turning the car off, turning it on, off, on all the time. Take one, take two. I don't get these things in one take, you know. So your car is running, being switched on and off, and you're not really going anywhere or making any progress. And even then, still in like the high 30s, low 40s. So I'm thoroughly impressed with its real world economy. It doesn't have the punch of a small turbocharged engine, but it does rev, and it is economical. I would just like to thank Underwoods Mazda in Colchester for lending me the car. I drove one a couple of weeks ago and I was thoroughly impressed, so I asked if I could make a video and they kindly agreed, helpful as they always are. Well, I hope this video helps you learn a little bit about this Mazda 2. If you think it does, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to get my future videos. And until the next one, cheerio.